Hey everyone, welcome to our channel Life Creative. Today's video is going to be the first video of our Easter series. We're going to be showing you how we put together this jewel-toned Easter tablescape, as well as a wreath that you can hang on your front door or anywhere in your home. First, I painted these plastic Easter eggs that I found at the dollar store. I mixed together some different colors of my paint to get dark jewel tones. Then, I started gluing down and wiring some craft moss that I found at the craft store. Once I was happy with how my moss looked, I took some craft wire and I wired it in to secure it. Then I took some hot glue and I glued my eggs down to the moss. As you can see here, I have a blue, a dark green, a purple, and a yellow. Once I had all of my eggs glued on, I decided that I didn't like the yellow because it was too distracting. So I mixed together a different tone of paint and I painted it a dark dusty rose. Then what I did is I added in some craft feathers and some branches and twigs from my garden. Since spring is pretty wet where I live, I hung my wreath in my entryway of my home rather than on my front door. Here, I'm going to be showing you how I transformed this dollar store basket into a really pretty bird's nest. First, I took out everything that was in the basket. Then, I unwired the handle and clipped off the excess wire. I started gluing craft moss around the nest. And once I was happy with how that looked, I started tucking in some of the feathers as well. We're going to be using this bird's nest later in the video to add in some of our plastic eggs. I found these great iron houses at the dollar store. What I'm doing here is I'm painting them a dark gray color to kind of represent what concrete would look like. We're going to be using these houses later as well on our tablescape. While the paint on the houses was drying, I used the same gray paint to paint these ceramic bunnies that I found at the dollar store as well. Once the houses were dry, I had pieces of felt cut out and I glued them to the bottom where the mirrors were. Then I took some more moss and I glued it onto the felt. We're going to be adding smaller bird's nests that we decorated into these houses once we're done. Now I'm going to show you how I painted and decorated these terracotta pots. First, I dry brushed gray and white paint on my terracotta pots. Once the paint was dry, I took some tissue paper and added it into the bottom of one of the pots and stacked the other one inside of it. Then I took some moss and I started stuffing it in between the two pots and gluing it around the edges. Then I stuffed some tissue into the top pot and started gluing some moss around the edge. I filled the pot with moss and tucked in some extra feathers. What I did for this tablescape is I made one large bird's nest with that dollar store basket. I made a large set of the stacking pots, as well as 2 smaller sets. Then I added my 2 nest houses, and I put smaller bird's nests inside of them. I added my bunnies and some candles, and then a bunch of dried flowers that I had cut off my hydrangea bushes from my garden. Once I was done placing all of my items on the table, I took the remaining plastic eggs and I placed them into all of the birds' nests and all of my pots. I hope this video gave you ideas on how to decorate your table for Easter. Make sure you stay tuned for our other videos in our Easter series. Coming up, we have another decorating video that's a little more kid-friendly, as well as some kid activities and snack ideas.